Live on YouTube, live on Rumble. Good afternoon. Welcome to This Day in History, AKTDH. I'm Xander. We will be joined by the Golden Loon here shortly. And of course, you viewer, thank you so much for coming in and watching. Today is Moon's Day. Is it Moon's Day? It is Monday, March 9, 2026. This show is about interesting, important events that occurred today throughout the annals of recorded history. Pardon me. Starting with the year 141 BC, Liu Qi, posthumously known as Emperor Wu of Han, assumed the throne of the Han Dynasty in China and ruled for 54 years. Alright. Moving on up to 1009, the first known written mention of Lithuania in the annals of Quedlinburg. Alright, and here we go. This highlighted section here, this is apparently when they mentioned the country of Lithuania. 1044, the people of Constantinople rioted against Emperor Constantine IX Monmachos, whose preference of his mistress, Maria Scarilana, over Empress Zoe Porphyrogentia was seen as an insult. Alright. 8 centuries ago, in 1226, Khwarazmian Sultan Jalal al-ad-Din conquered the Georgian capital of Tbilisi. Alright. We are being joined by...
the Golden Loon.
Yeah, there he is, coming in horizontally. But yeah, did you hear that? We got an 8 centuries ago article right there. Ooh. In 1826. Not in 1826, in 1226.
26, okay.
Yeah, but in 1496, here Jews were expelled from Carthenia, Austria. Here we go again.
Wow.
1 year later, Nicholas Copernicus' first recorded astronomical observation, I guess, occurred. 1500s now. Pedro Alvarez Cabral departed Lisbon, Portugal, at the head of a 13-ship expedition to India that will also claim Brazil for Portugal. From the other source, it says the fleet of Pedro Alvarez Cabral left Lisbon for the Indies. The fleet will discover Brazil, which lies within boundaries granted to Portugal in the Treaty of Tordesillas in 1494. Very much akin to that one scene from Shogun. Like they did you remember the old show Shogun?
Yeah.
You know, with Lord Toranaga or whatever his name was?
Yeah.
They did a remake in more modern times.
Oh,
and,
I didn't see that.
Well, I haven't seen either, but I've seen some clips and everything. And in this one scene, he explains about how Japan is under the jurisdiction of this something or whatever. And he's just like, what the hell? Like, I rule this area. What are you talking about? He's like, we're under no jurisdiction. He's like... Well, their document says something like that.
Yeah.
So, back in those times, like it really was, well, it still is today, eat or be eaten. So, 1522, Martin Luther began preaching his Involvatit sermons in the German city of Wittenberg, reminding citizens to trust God's word rather than violence, helping bring to a close the revolutionary stage of Reformation. 1517, copy of Martin Luther's 95 Theses, the publication of which began the Protestant Reformation in Europe.
Boy, doing a lot of Martin Luther here.
Yeah. I'm trying to... Now, wait a minute. Hold on a second. How do I go from 1522 to 1517? That's weird. So...
Something's backwards.
Yeah, that was weird. But was it the first copy...
Going back in time. New show.
Yeah, that was weird. It's gone.
What's gone?
That article from the main source. That's weird. Moving on up to 1562, kissing in public was banned in Naples and was punishable by death. Wow.
Oh, man.
Why? Like, I was just wondering, right there, I'm not full of crap.
So, who gets killed, the kisser or the kissee?
I guess both.
You're both toast?
Yeah, that kind of sucks if you're kissed involuntarily.
Yeah.
Although I guess that's a great way to get assisted murder-suicide, So, but no, still, like I'm just wondering, like,
that's
why
weird.
was that even a thing? And then I remember like the bubonic plague and stuff. Was this around that time?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Do you have any idea?
I do not, but I can look it up. I think there were multiple instances. When was the bubonic plague?
I don't think it goes that far back.
Bubonic plague, Wikipedia. No, it's from way back there, but it's not telling me when it was. Not 2010. Cause So it's no. When was it? Come on, tell me. Whatever. We got to keep on going for the sake of the show. 1682, Die Italianese Opera, the Italian Opera Theater on the Leidsterstraat in Amsterdam, closed less than 1.5 years after opening.
Jeez.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
1689, Thomas Shadwell appointed second English poet laureate by William and Mary after John Dyer refused to swear oaths of allegiance to the new monarchs. So, well,
Not good.
yeah, he lost his job.
Yeah. Like he didn't lose his wife.
Yeah. 1745, bells for the first American carillon shipped from England to Boston. What's a carillon?
Well, we're both asking the same question.
Well, then I guess it is up to me to discover what this is. It's some kind of it's a pitched percussion instrument that is played with a keyboard and consists of at least 23 bells. The bells are cast in bronze, hung in fixed suspension, and turned in chromatic order so that they can be sounded harmoniously together. They are struck with clappers connected to, so it's basically like a bell piano.
Yeah, you're playing bells on a keyboard. That's kind of cool. I don't know how it sounds, but that's weird.
It says a tower filled with 100 tons of bells. So this has to be like a massive carillon.
Yeah.
So that's
There you go.
oh, he's playing the Harry Potter theme. I hope that doesn't get me copywritten. That's interesting. And I actually have here's an image for Martin Luther giving his oration or whatever it was he was doing in here. As
There's the bells?
Yeah.
Or some bells?
Yeah, carillon. Yeah, no, this is what I got. One of the images, for my image search, looking for. Well, it's telling me to image search this, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Is that going on the thumbnail?
That was on the thumbnail, or it is on the thumbnail. See, there it is right there. But I think this is the historical photo of the actual bells. So
that's pretty cool, actually.
It is. What else do we got here? 1765, after a public campaign by the writer Voltaire, judges in Paris posthumously exonerate Jean Calas of murdering his son. Calas had been tortured and executed in 1762 on the charge, though his son may have actually committed self-deletion. Wow. That's awful. So not only did he lose his son, but he got killed for it too. That just sucks. Wow. 1776, Adam Smith published the influential economics book, The Wealth of Nations.
Yeah, he's the founder of our system of finance.
Yeah, it says here, Scottish philosopher Adam Smith published The Wealth of Nations, ushering in the classical period of political economy. Well, capitalism.
Capitalism.
Or what would become capitalism. Because wasn't the word capitalism invented by the commies?
Yes, Russians.
Yeah.
To be exact.
Yeah. So what did we call this before that?
I don't know.
Were we called capitalists before? Is that like...
I think that's...
is that inspiration from capitalism?
I think capitalist is what came out of capitalism.
Okay.
I think the Russians coined capitalists.
Yeah.
Not capitalism.
So I'm just wondering, what, if anything, did we call ourselves to occupy that word, if we did at all, beforehand?
I don't... We probably didn't have any name for it. At least nothing I'm aware of. You think we would know something.
Yeah, but I mean, just with the animosity there is between capitalism and communism, you'd think that, it would go beyond the roots of the actual words that was used.
Capitalism was there.
Yes.
But they called us capitalists.
Yeah.
And coined it in a negative way.
Yeah. Well, if anyone watching, let us know in the comment section, what you think your answer is to that question, or if you actually do know, So, 1798, Dr. George Balfour became the first naval surgeon in the U.S. Navy. Huh. All right. 1804, Congress Calhoun, Breton royalist who plotted to overthrow Napoleon in the Patriot Conspiracy, was arrested. That would cause it. 1809, the Griffin conspirators broke into Gripsholm Castle and imprisoned King Gustav IV Adolf and appointed Charles XIII in his place as Regan of Sweden. Wow, so they went in. That's like a coup, it sounds like.
Sounds like it.
1815, Francis Reynolds described the first battery-operated clock in the Philosophical Magazine. Ooh.
Battery-operated.
Yeah. Huh? Before that, everything, like grandfather clocks, you had to, pull the thing and get all the weights and count them around. Yeah. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Rewind the springs and all that jazz. 1815, we got that one. 1820, between now to the 11th, Philippines chased out foreigners. About 125 people died. So, Yikes, Philippines being xenophobic there. 822, Charles Graham of New York granted the first patent for artificial teeth. All right, and here we have a picture of that. Yeah. 834, the French Foreign Legion was founded. Here's a picture of that. I find that cool. You know, like, was the French Foreign Legion the first, like, international inter-ethnicity? Because, you know, you have whites and blacks and everything, like, you know, something like that. Like, are they the first, like, multi-ethnic international, you know, military force or whatever it is, you know, peacekeeping force, you know?
I don't know where you're going with that. I don't quite understand.
Well, I mean, like, okay, so we had freed blacks and whatever in you know the Continental Army,
Yeah.
and all that stuff, or not really the Continental. Well, we did have blacks in the Continental Army, but like freed blacks, you know, in the Union Army and all that stuff. But like, you know, this is the French Foreign Legion.
Yeah.
It's a foreign military organization to
Yeah.
go outside of France.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the French Foreign Legion, because that picture, you know, had white guys and black guys in there, are they the first international military organization that had multiple ethnicities within its ranks?
I don't know if they're the first or not.
That's what I'm wondering. Like,
I
are
have
they?
no idea.
Anyway.
Sorry, it took me a while to get there.
Yeah. 1839, Prussian government limited work week for children to 51 hours. All right, so, you know, heading the right way. 1841, U.S. Supreme Court ruled that kidnapped slaves from the Spanish schooner, the Amistad, were free. Oh, nice! Epic. Yeah, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in the United States versus the Amistad case that captive Africans who had seized control of the ship carrying them had been taken into slavery illegally. Talk about fighting for your freedom, literally. That is epic.
Wow, yeah.
Freaking epic. 1842, Giuseppe Verdi's opera Nabucco premiered in Milan. It was his third opera, and it received its premiere performance in Milan, as I said, the success of which established Verdi as one of Italy's foremost opera composers. All right. We also have the first documented discovery of gold in California occurred at Rancho San Francisco 6 years before the California gold rush.
The word didn't get out, I guess.
Apparently not. So, I mean, it's telling me to image search this. Do I have an image of that?
I've
No.
never heard of that. Isn't that funny?
I think I have. Like, I think I've heard about, like, the first sighting of gold was a while back. Like, it's one of those, like, you know, What History Forgot shows on TV or something.
Yeah.
So, it says here, on this day in 1842, Francisco Lopez woke from a nap under a tree at Rancho San Francisco and made the first documented discovery of gold. Wow! So he just, like...
Oh, gold! Hey!
Hey, cool! You know?
Come on!
How lucky can some guy be? How lucky can a guy be? You know, so... But yeah, that's a pisser. That pisses me off almost as much as, like, that one guy who won the lottery, and then it was after he got in a car accident or something. It's this whole story, and then he made the news for whatever reason, so they had him go reenact, you know, scratching the ticket or whatever, and he won it again. It's like, what the hell? Some people get all the luck.
So he won it twice?
Yes, he won it first. Ended up being newsworthy for some reason, and then as they were, like, you know, doing, like, you know, a little story, you know, like recording, they had him scratch a ticket, you know, for the camera, and he won again. What the hell? 1847, Mexican Stadium War, the first large-scale amphibious assault in U.S. history, was launched in the seas of Veracruz. Now, see, what annoys me is its official name is the Mexican-American War. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, America is not a country. It's two continents containing 35 countries, the United States of America being one of them. So it's just like Mexico versus the other 34 countries? What? The Mexican-American War? They're fighting half the planet? Oh, you mean the United States of America.
You talk about a two-front war.
Yeah, I know, right? Germany, eat your heart out. But yeah, it's these are just images of the you know, the war and everything. Look at those galleons, man. Oh, it's wild. What else do we got here? 1858, Albert Potts of Philadelphia patented the street mailbox, and that's what we have here. So it's like would this be the predecessor to the
well, we have mailboxes.
well, like the blue ones, you know, that used to be around everywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because it doesn't look like you can, like, it's not like a house one. This is just like in the streets.
It's on a pole. They kind of built it into the lamppost.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, 1860, we have the first Japanese ambassador arrived in San Francisco en route to Washington, D.C., I presume. They could just head north to that Washington. Who knows? 1861, U.S. Confederate currency was authorized to $50, $100, $500, and $1,000 bills. Wow.
$1,000 bill.
Yeah, they had some ambition, especially back in those times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
$1,000. I don't think anybody ever saw $1,000 in their whole life. You know, the average person.
No.
Back in those times. 1862, the USS Monitor and the CSS Merrimack battled in Hampton Roads. The fight ended up with a draw. This was the first battle between two ironclad warships.
Oh.
Yeah. So this was the big fight between the two ironclads. You have the north one there with the turret, and thus inventing turret technology for ships, and then the Confederacy with their big floating Toblerone. So, still using the broadside technology and all that stuff. No, really interesting. Because this is an actual physical evidence of two different potential branches of a technology. When you think about it,
The old and the new. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I mean you had wooden ships, and then you started putting iron on, but they still had sails and all that stuff. Those didn't have sails.
No.
So those were steamships.
Yeah.
And one side, the Confederacy, had the angles and everything, and that was more traditional to the old style of naval warfare. The broadside with a couple guns, out the front, and maybe the back. Meanwhile, I think it was the Monitor, the USS Monitor, invented turrets to spin the gun around. So instead of all these guns everywhere, you just have a couple. You just turn them wherever you need them.
That's what I'm saying. Old and new technology.
Yeah, well, it's they're both kind of new because the Confederates took
one's outdated real quick.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. It's really interesting to see two divulges of the same branch of technology, especially in that caliber.
Yeah.
Pun not intended about the jokes, but about the guns. But 1864, Ulysses S. Grant was named commanding general of the U.S. Union Army. All right. 1868, the opera Hamlet by Ambrose Thomas premiered in Paris. All right. You know Hamlet. Mm-hmm. 1883, demonstration of March 9th in 1883, Parisian anarchists, unemployed, and carpenters narrowly missed the presidential palace during a violent protest. First use of the black flag as a symbol of anarchism by Louis Mitchell. Here's the image of the Monitor in the.
And where was this again?
This was I think Paris. It says Parisian.
Okay.
Parisian.
Yeah.
P-A-R. Paris. E-N. So, and I can't really make but there's a black flag there. Yeah. So, but I mean, if anybody knows how to protest and riot, it's the French, and so that they would invent the black flag for anarchy. 1889, Kansas passed the first general antitrust law in the U.S. 1891, the Great Blizzard of 1891 began in England and lasted until March 13th, killing 200 people and 6,000 animals.
Ooh.
Holy cats. Well, I guess they're holy now, all 9 lives. 1897, in Cleveland Indians, fans started calling them the Indians. In 1915, it became official. Okay,
Not the Indians anymore.
What happened?
Well,
oh, that's right. Now they're. I
don't know what they are now.
Are they the native Aboriginals or whatever the hell?
What
Something
are
stupid.
Cleveland?
That is a good question.
What are they now?
Cleveland Indians. Let's see. Guardians.
Guardians. That's what it is.
Well, that's not bad, but.
No, I'm a traditionalist.
Well, no, I'm not gonna say I support the change. I'm just gonna say, at least it's something cool like Guardians. They're guardians of the land. I can see how it fits, but I would rather it not have changed because.
No, I'm not an Indian, but I don't think you can't. I'd be shocked if the Indians were actually offended. Our natural.
I would too, especially after the whole thing about the Washington Redskins, how the name, and I know for a fact, the logo was drawn by a Native American. And not, under the point of a gun. He did it willingly. So they supported it.
To me, you're recognizing part of the historics of this country. You know, Native Americans, Indians, Redskins. It's just not offensive.
You know,
but I'm not an Indian.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, with how things are going, pretty soon here, the damage caused by all of this white guilt is going to be actually equal to, if not greater than, the damage, we've caused before in the past. Because we were getting over things and now we're going back.
Yeah.
Out of, oh, boo-hoo, we want to feel bad about it. Shut up and move on, Anyway, 1897, Major League Baseball Cleveland Spiders signed Louis Soxalakis, what a name, full-blooded Penobscot. What?
An Indian, obviously.
Penobscot?
I don't know, never heard of it. I was thinking you were going to say Cherokees or something like that.
I don't know. This was the Cleveland Spiders, Penobscots. In an indigenous people in North America. Okay, you're right. Okay.
I've never heard of them.
I haven't either. That's cool.
No offense to your heritage.
Well, I mean,
sorry, I
like,
haven't heard of you.
Like, there's a million and one,
Yeah.
like white cultures I have no clue about,
Right, no.
so, but that's cool.
That's being facetious.
But see, we learned something. We learned of them, so hey,
Yeah.
1904, legendary Lester Patrick became the first ice hockey defenseman to score a goal in Brandon Wheat City's 6-3 defeat to Ottawa Hockey Club in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. All right. Primary source edited. It used to just say Brandon Lester Patrick became the first hockey defenseman to score a goal. And then they added on a whole bunch to it.
Yeah.
907, the first involuntary sterilization law was enacted in India. I don't like that. That sounds horrible.
I would have to know more. I don't know what they're talking
Involuntary sterilization.
It sounds horrific. Now, what the hell? It can't mean what it's saying right there, but...
Well, I'll look it up really quick. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna add this into the underbar section really quick too.
Give them credit. Give them credit. See, there's something that, just from their name, we've learned a tribe that we've never heard of before.
There we go. Stupid thing didn't want to copy. There. That's going to be under our description section below after the live stream here. And what is this involuntary sterilization law? There we go. 1907, Indiana. Oh, this is Indiana, not India. I misread that. So this is in the States. Eugenics. Holy God. Wow. They had a eugenics program in Indiana in the early 1900s. I had no clue. That's crazy. What?
Yeah, that's bad. That's even worse.
Yikes.
Here, of all places.
And see, like, that's the thing a lot of people don't realize about, like, a lot of stuff the Nazis were doing. Especially, like, the whole basis behind their, like, Aryanism ideal was because we invented eugenics, the United States of America. We invented the concept. And very much like fascism, Hitler and his cronies took that horrible thing and just perfected it nightmarishly. But we were the catalyst. 908, Italian football club Inter Milan was founded as Football Club Internazionale. All right. I wonder if they're still around. They'd be over 100 years old by now. 1914, U.S. Senator Albert B. Fall demanded the Cubanization of Mexico. What? You want to Cubanize Mexico?
Little island's gonna take over Mexico?
Yeah, good luck with that. Well, then again, a little island took over most of the world back in the day, Britain. So
Britain.
Yeah.
Japan tried.
Well, Japan was getting some pretty good traction. 1916, Germany declared war against Portugal. That's interesting. 1916 as well, Mexican General Francisco Pancho Villa invaded the United States, killing 18 people. He led nearly 500 Mexican raiders in an attack against the border town of Columbus in New Mexico. Wow. 1918, Russian Bolshevik Party was renamed the All-Russian Communist Party. So whenever you think of communists, think of the Bolsheviks. We also have Ukrainian mobs massacred Jews of Sardinio Buda. Why? Here we go again. 1922, Eugene O'Neill's Hairy Ape premiered in New York City. That's a weird name.
Hairy Ape?
Hairy Ape. It's a very weird name for a production. 1923, the Amsterdam taxi strike ended. Good. So now people can, get back to work. And then here's another weird name for a an odd name for a production. Elmer Rice's play in 1923, Adding Machine, premiered in New York City. What's with these names? And oh well, I guess I explained. Look at this golf playing ass looking guy with his big ass hat, like in Harry Potter glasses.
Or now it's not, but could you imagine it? You're playing on words, and it's what happens when you add machines.
Well, now that you say it, he looks like a robot. 1925, Pink's War, the first Royal Air Force operation conducted independently of the Army or Navy, began. 26, 1 century ago. Why didn't I even find this? Hold on. 1 century ago. Oka. Bertha Landis was elected as the first woman mayor of Seattle and the first female mayor of any major U.S. city.
Kudos.
Congratulations. 1930, Kurt Weill and Bertolt Brecht's satirical opera The Rise and Fall of the City of Mahogany premiered in Leipzig, Germany. Did it burn down or something?
I don't know.
It's a play, though.
Yeah. No, I know.
The Rise and Fall of the City of Mahogany.
Yeah, it's just weird.
It sounds It's not. I would like to watch it actually, if it's even still performed anywhere. I wonder what it entails. 1933, The 42nd Street, a musical film revolving around rehearsals for a Broadway show, directed by Lloyd Bacon and choreography by Bubsy Berkeley, and songs by Harry Warren and by Al Dubin, premiered at the Strand in New York City, later adapted as a stage musical. This sounds like The Producers. But this was way before that.
Yeah.
Because The Producers, they talk about Hitler, and that was after 33.
Yeah.
1933 as well, U.S. Congress was called into a special session by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, beginning its 100 days, during which it passed 77 laws. That sounds horrifying. The Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt submitted the Emergency Banking Act to Congress, the first of his New Deal policies. 1935, Adolf Hitler, speaking of the funny mustache man from Austria, the weird painter guy, he announced the creation of a new air force, the Luftwaffe. 1942, construction of the Alaska Highway began. That was the linking all the way through Canada and all that stuff. 1942 as well, during the Second Global Conflict, the Dutch East Indies unconditionally surrendered to the Japanese forces in Kalijidi, Subang, West Java, thus completing Japan's Dutch East Indies campaign. 43, Delft, Netherlands, anti-Nazi resistance group Foud de Mortandings were wiped out. At least they died fighting. Greek Jews of Slovakia were transported to Nazi extermination camps in 1943 as well. And that's one of the bad things about history. You got to take the bad with the good sometimes, just to get the balance and really understand. If we're going to not repeat the madness of the past, we got to be aware of it.
Supposing the bad is actually more important.
Yeah, exactly. 1945, 334 U.S. B-29 superfortresses attacked Tokyo with 120,000 firebombs. That is a lot of firebombs.
Well, they went to tactical firebombs because
mostly
everything's
wood.
made in wood.
Yeah, traditional.
Burn it down.
Yeah, it destroyed most of the capital and killed over 100,000 civilians.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
It worked really well, unfortunately.
See, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, though horrifying and bringing us into an entire new age and chapter of human history, by itself.
Yeah.
In comparison to the fire bombings and other actions of World War II, it was very minute.
Well, not minute, but they say those two bombings leading to the surrender saved millions of lives.
Well, absolutely,
on both
yes.
sides.
Well, Japan didn't surrender. I brought this up before. Japan didn't surrender because of the bombings. They surrendered because they knew if they surrendered to us, we could stop Russia from eating Japan.
Yeah, they were coming in from the north.
Yeah, and they were getting screwed. So Russia was going to win, and they knew that we were stronger, but we were also mentally weaker and more malleable. So. 1945, Japanese proclaimed independence of Indochina. During World War II, a coup d'etat by Japanese forces in French Indochina removed the French from power. So by the transitive property, we could thank Japanese, not Japanese, but Japan, for the Vietnam. Because if it wasn't for them, taking over that and wobbling the whole thing about French Indochina and all that stuff. Which don't get me wrong, there shouldn't have been a French Indochina. I don't like the idea of colonies, but Japan went in there, shook things up, and then probably got Ho Chi Minh started on his communist independence. Maybe. So, 1946, Ted Williams was offered $500,000 to play in the Mexican Baseball League, and he refused. Thank you.
Yeah, we want you up here.
Yeah, blue blood. True U.S. citizen. 1951, Edward Teller and Stanislaw Ulam submitted a classified paper at the Los Alamos lab in which they proposed a revolutionary new design, staged implosion, for a practical megaton range hydrogen bomb. So remember that scene? We watched the Oppenheimer movie?
Mm-hmm.
I really love that scene because remember he was talking about about doing that and all that stuff, and then he's like, okay, well then how are we going to cause an implosion? Well, we're going to need a normal explosion, in which that's what they were wanting to work on anyway. So in order to get to his idea, he had to work with theirs first, regardless. I just found it funny. But it told me to image search this, and this is an interesting picture right here. So it has here the primary, the fission bomb, and then the secondary, which is whatever the heck this is. So I guess this is first and this is second, as far as explosions. It's to make the implosion or something. 1953. What else do we got here? What is this? I don't know. Joseph Stalin's funeral was held in Moscow after 4 days of national mourning. We still got to watch that movie, Death of Stalin. It's really interesting. Yeah. It's a comedy, but it also is based in historical. Not a well. There's comical, it's not completely, somber and everything. There's comical moments. Steve Buscemi is in it. He plays, I think, Nikita Khrushchev.
I don't know who that is.
One of the former leaders of the Soviet Union.
No, I don't know who the actor is.
We went over this yesterday. Steve Buscemi.
I forgot his name. Oh, that's right. I forgot his name. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. I remember his picture.
Okay, yeah. 1954,
Yeah.
we have the first local color TV commercial, WNBT TV or WNBC TV.
Yesterday.
The first color commercial?
Yeah. Weird.
Are you sure it was a commercial and not the TV?
Well, it may have been at first. It may have been TV.
I think it might have been a channel producing girl. No, actually, now that you see it, I think it was a news something. The first, this broadcast or this BBC News or whatever in color. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this was for a commercial for Castro Decorators, whoever that is. 1954, Edward R. Murrow criticized U.S. Senator Joseph McCartney on his See It Now TV program. That sounds like the actions of a communist. During McCarthyism, CBS television broadcast the See It Now episode, a report on Senator Joseph McCarthy, produced by Fred Friendly. Oh, there we go. Here, Friendly. That sounds like a communist name. He wants to be your friend. He wants to make you seem like he's your friend. 1956, weather forecasting phone line set up in London, England. That's weird. Calling in to get the weather forecast? I mean,
I don't know.
I guess it, did it not come in the newspaper? Or I guess not everybody got the newspaper? I mean, how do people know the weather in 1956? I don't think they really did as much. Obviously not as much as we do.
Get it on the news.
Yeah. Okay. 1957, an 8.1 earthquake shook Andreanoff Islands in Alaska.
Ooh, that's a biggie.
The other source says it was 8.6 MW Andreanoff Islands earthquake shook the Aleutian Islands, causing over $5 million in damage from ground movement and a destructive tsunami. 58, Detroit Pistons forward George Yardley III scored 26 points in a 111-90 defeat to Syracuse Nationals, becoming the first NBA player to score 2,000 points in a season. Yep. 1 year later, 1959, Barbie made her debut at the American Toy Fair in New York. Over 1 billion dolls have been sold worldwide since.
Great.
Yep. I want to show, let's see, life-size Barbie. If they...
Life-size Barbie?
No, like...
Is there such a thing?
Yes, but see, what I'm saying is, if you take, a normal Barbie doll, okay, and then you multiplied it, X amount of times until it's, as tall as a human or whatever, the proportions would not stay the same somehow. I don't know how to explain it, but it's some kind of science or something. Like if I took this, this chip clip, and I made it 5 times the size, the ratio of how high it is to how wide it is will be vastly different, even though you think that the ratio wouldn't change.
You would think that, yeah.
But it does.
Okay.
So the thing I'm pulling up is the life-size Barbie. No, this is wrong.
That's wrong?
No, I'm trying to find because somebody, here it is. Somebody did like if you multiplied the arms by 2, the head by 2, the torso by 2, however it is that she did it. So basically, what you're about to see is, if you took a normal sized Barbie doll and then all around made everything 3 times as big, the proportions would not stay the same. Look at that. Look how small the head is, the breasts, the arms, the legs.
Yeah.
What a freak,
Well, what does it tell you what they're trying to sell on the doll-size Barbie?
Yeah, exactly. 1959, the first known radar contact was made with Venus. All right. 1960, Dr. Billy Hibbard Shivner implanted for the first time a shunt he invented into a patient, which allowed the patient to receive hemodialysis on a regular basis.
A shunt, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty slick, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I was kind of not really like what Mom had, but kind of sort of the same thing. Oh, that was a shunt? Oh, okay. 1961. Oh, here we go. Soviet flights Sputnik 9 carried and returned from orbit a dog named Cheruska Blackie, frogs, and a guinea pig, as well as a human dummy, to demonstrate that the Soviet Union was ready to begin human space flights in 1961. Yep. We also have the Supremes release singles I Want a Guy and Never Again. I wonder if there's a story in there. It kind of seems like a little weird, just...
I don't recognize either one of those songs.
Yeah. 1962, Egyptian President Nasser declared Gaza belongs to the Palestinians, as does Palestine. It's in their name. 1962, U.S. advisors in South Vietnam joined the fight, so I guess that means they got overrun or something, because even the advisors had to pick up a gun. Usually, an advisor is not a frontline combat troop.
No, they're in the back.
Yeah. 1964, the first Ford Mustang was produced.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, most people think it came out in 65, but it actually came out, and it was called a 1964 and a half.
Ha! And a half.
It came out late in 64.
64 as well, the Supreme Court issued New York Times versus Sullivan decision. Public officials must prove malice to claim libel and recover damages. All right. 66, Andrew Brimmer became the first black governor of Federal Reserve Board. All right. 1971, 3 off-duty Scottish soldiers were killed by the Provisional Irish Republican Army. 4,000 shipyard workers took to the streets to demand internment in response. The power of the people. 72, players on White Sox voted 31-0 in favor of a strike if necessary. 74, and here we go. One-man war finally ends. The last Japanese soldier, a guerrilla operating in the Philippines, surrendered 29 years after World War II ended. Yeah, anybody out there watching this video, look into this guy's story. It is phenomenal what this guy did. Absolutely phenomenal. 74 as well, the Mars 7 flyby bus released the descent module too early, missing Mars. Whoops.
Ooh. Yeah,
undershot it. 75, constructions of the Trans-Atlantic pipeline system began. Didn't we close that down recently or something a couple years ago? Trans-Alaska.
Oh, this is Alaska? Transatlantic.
My stupid tongue keeps trying to say Atlantic, but it's Trans-Alaska.
I'm not familiar
pipeline
with that.
system. So, no, I think that's the one going from Alaska through Canada down to us on the West Coast, maybe. So
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with it.
1976, 42 people died in the Calvalese cable car disaster, the worst cable car accident to date in history, and I hope it never gets topped. That's crazy.
Where is this again?
Calvalese, wherever the hell that is.
Yeah,
let me do a surface level scratch of the article really quick. Italy.
Oh, okay.
Calvalese, Italy. 1977, Hanafi Muslims invaded 3 buildings in Washington, D.C. The siege ended later on March 11th, so 2 days later. So I had no idea. A 39-hour standoff. Armed Hanafi Muslims seized 3 Washington, D.C. buildings.
Oh, I never heard of that. Jeez.
Yeah, it's a little weird,
How did I miss that?
Well, everybody's always going after the Christians and the Jews, and nobody's paying attention to the most violent of the 3. So, 1978, the Jagorawi Toll Road, the first toll highway in Indonesia, was inaugurated by President Suharto, connecting Jakarta, Bogor, and Ciawi in West Java. All right. 79, Major League Baseball Commissioner Bowie Kuhn ordered baseball to give equal access to female reporters. All right.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Because they couldn't go in the locker room.
Mm.
I realize the guys are showering, changing, and all that, but hey, they got to get in there and get their story.
True. 81, Dan Rather became the primary anchor of CBS Evening News.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. What year was that, 81?
81. 84, John Lennon's single Borrowed Time was released posthumously. It's kind of ironic.
Yeah.
84 as well, Philadelphia 76ers blocked 20 Seattle shots, tying NBA regulation and game record. And we also have the Competitive Enterprise Institute was founded in Washington, D.C. What is that? Competitive Enterprise Institute.
I have no clue.
I'm going to have to take that, look at that. Is a non-profit libertarian think tank founded by the political writer Fred L. Smith Jr. on March 9th, 1984 in Washington, D.C. to advance principles of limited government, free enterprise, and individual liberty. I'm liking the sound of this. I'm gonna add this to the underbar section there.
I always question non-profit organizations. Who's getting paid and what?
True.
How's your travel expenses? All of that stuff.
Very true. 1986, we have the 16th Easter Seal Telethon, raised $30,100,000. 86 as well, NASA announced searchers found the remains of Challenger astronauts. We covered that yesterday, but this is when they're actually announcing the findings. 87, Chrysler Corp offered to buy American Motors Corp for $1 billion. 99, Eastern Airlines filed for bankruptcy. No idea who they are, but that sounds terrible.
Airlines, yeah, they were.
Huh. Are they still around, or they were?
They still may be around. I'm not sure they had to come out of bankruptcy. Maybe they got bought out. I'm not quite sure.
Well, I'm gonna just put in their name and see what comes up here. Oh no, they're done in 91.
Okay.
So it looks like 89 to 91. Yeah, they
were
died.
gone.
89 as well.
Got bought up.
Yep. Soviet Union officially supported. Let me restart here. 1989. Soviet Union officially submitted to jurisdiction of the World Court. 1990. Dr. Antonio Novello was sworn in as the first Hispanic and female U.S. Surgeon General. Now, was she the first Hispanic as well as the first female, or the first Hispanic female? It says here and female, but I just want to be sure.
Yeah.
So, 1993, Pittsburgh Penguins began NHL record 17-game winning streak. That's impressive. 95, baseball awarded a franchise to Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Oh, okay, yeah, baseball.
And for whatever reason, we have the Mexican peso is worth 7.55 pesos to a dollar, which is a record. I guess the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
90. I just like every now and then we get weird articles like that. Why are we comparing it to the guilder? Why do we care about the guilder?
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, no offense to like Denmark or wherever the guilder's from, but like it doesn't matter to me. 95, President Konstantin Karmalis, at the age of 88 of Greece, resigned. So everybody going around, giving Trump and Biden shit for being 79, 80 years old, 81. Yeah. This motherfucker is 88. So yikes. 97, Comet Hale-Bopp observers in China, Mongolia, and eastern Siberia were treated to a rare double feature as an eclipse permitted Hale-Bopp to be seen during the day. Dude, that's awesome. Can you imagine an eclipse and seeing a comet? Holy shit. Dude, that's, all you need now is a flying saucer and then you can die happy. That's a trifecta. What else is there to live for? 97, the notorious B.I.G. was murdered in Los Angeles after attending the Soul Train Music Awards. He was gunned down after leaving a party at the Peterson Automotive Museum. His murder remains unsolved. However, there have been recent findings possibly connecting the murder of Tupac Shakur and maybe even the murder of Notorious B.I.G. to Biggie Smalls. That was around when he was really getting started, and he was getting rid of the competition.
Wow.
And no, it wasn't Biggie Smalls. That is Biggie Smalls. Notorious B.I.G. I think is big. I was talking about who's the rapper today?
I have no idea.
No. Diddy.
Oh.
Diddy. Diddy.
Isn't that the guy that had the whole trial? And
Yeah,
everything?
that's what I'm saying. Like, things are becoming exposed and linking him to the murder of Tupac Shakur and maybe Notorious B.I.G., a.k.a. Biggie Smalls.
We've been to the automotive museum.
Yeah, that's the one over by LACMA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the tar pits. 98, Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment signed the unknown rapper Eminem, Marshall Mathers. 2, right back to back, massive, rap industry events. That's remarkable. 2000, Nupedia, a multi-language online encyclopedia, was launched. I wonder if it's still around. In the year 2002, Joe Sakic played his 1,000th career game. And in 2006, liquid water was discovered on Enceladus, the 6th largest moon of Saturn. Cool.
Yeah.
2007, the U.S. Justice Department released an international audit that found that the Federal Bureau of Investigation had acted illegally in its use of the U.S. Patriot Act to secretly obtain personal information about U.S. citizens.
What a surprise.
Did they stop? No. Now, if you have one of these, hell, there's things out there figuring out that the CIA and the FBI and all these, alphabet organizations of the government can turn your speaker into a microphone and they can listen to you when your device is powered off, like your TV, or your monitor, or your speaker, or your headphones, or your phone, or your smart fridge, whatever. It's scary out there, people. Be careful. 2011, Bonham's Auctions in New York City conducted a sale of Eric Clapton's and Friends guitars and amplifiers to benefit Crossroads Center and Antigua, a drug and alcohol residential rehabilitation facility he co-founded back in '97, raising over $1.75 million. Nice.
Wow. One of the great blues guitarists.
Eric Clapton. 2011, Space Shuttle Discovery made its final landing after 39 mission flights. I remember recording that episode of Garage Time with Mom way back in the day. One of the topics was the end of the Space Shuttle program. That was way back in 2010, 2011 or something.
Yeah, right about there.
Yeah. So, that's wild.
Yeah.
2012, senior members of hacking group LulzSec were arrested, including one member of the FBI in the United States, United Kingdom, and Ireland. Wow. 2012 as well, a truce between the Salvadorian government and gangs in the country went into effect when 30 gang leaders were transferred to lower security prisons. That's wild, you've done fucked up when you're playing politics with gangs. What the hell? 2013, asteroid 2013 ET came within 960,000 kilometers from the Earth's surface. Whoa! Wow,
that's not a near miss. That's a near hit.
Yeah. 2015, U.S. President Barack Hussein Obama signed an executive order declaring Venezuela a national security threat to the U.S. Did he do anything about it? No. We had to wait for the Cheeto to take office before shit got done.
Yeah.
2015, 2 Eurocopter AS-350 Eurosil helicopters collided in midair over Villa Castelli, Argentina, killing all 10 people on board both aircraft, including French athletes Florence Arathod, Camille Muffat, and Alexis Vastine, as well as producers and guests for the French TV show Dropped. That's another ironic thing right there. Wow. Can you imagine, they were part of a show called Dropped,
Yeah.
and then they ended up in a helicopter crash. Jeez. 2016, EU migrant crisis. Macedonia, Croatia, and Slovenia closed their borders to migrants trying to reach north of Europe. Thank you. I don't even live there, but I thank you guys. Thank you. Stem the tide. 2020, Italy announced it is locking down the whole country due to a spike in Kung Flu cases with 10,040 cases and 630 deaths. It was announced in a televised address by Prime Minister of Italy, Giuseppe Conte, and signed a decree imposing the first nationwide Kung Flu lockdown in the world. 2020 as well, National One-Day Women's Strike was held in Mexico to protest high rates of femicide. More than 10 women were murdered every day. That's horrifying, but how many men were murdered every day? Was it less? Was it more?
Whatever it is, too many.
I agree. But at the same time, if they're going to only look at one side of the coin and claim, oh, boo-hoo, woe's me, well, boo-hoo, woe's me as well. Let's all help each other. How about that for an option? 2021, China and Russia agreed to build a research station on or around the moon and collaborate on lunar missions in a move that could start another space race. Yeah, good luck. 2021, UK TV host Piers Morgan left ITV's Good Morning after 41,000 complaints were made about him, saying he did not believe Meghan, Duchess of Sussex's statement about her mental health. Who cares?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, cancel culture is just evil. 2022, Russian airstrikes on Ukrainian city of Mariupol hit a hospital, killing at least 3 people, as attempts to create a humanitarian corridor out of the city failed. That sucks. That's just terrible there. 2022, stolen notebooks belonging to naturalist Charles Darwin, including his famous Tree of Life sketch, mysteriously returned after 22 years to Cambridge University Library.
That is weird.
That is very strange. It's almost as if the library itself stole it, to create a stink or whatever. I don't know. Something's conspiracy about that. We also have a Stadium singer and songwriter Lionel Richie received Library of Congress Gershwin Prize at the Dyer Constitution Hall in Washington, D.C. But isn't he dead?
Lionel Richie?
Lionel Richie?
I think so.
He was the guy who did Tutti Frutti on Rudy, right?
No. He was much later after him.
Oh, then who did Tutti Frutti?
What's his face?
Then who's Lionel Richie?
That's him right there.
Well, yes.
I can't tell you any of his songs he did.
3 Times a Lady. Okay, I recognize that one.
There you go. There's one.
Oh, Endless Love. Okay, I know that song as well. From what was it?
Tutti Frutti is
Adam Sandler movie. Yeah. Tutti Frutti. Now I gotta look at Tutti Frutti.
Okay. As soon as you say that, I can't believe I can't think of his name. Little Richard.
Little Richard. Oh, well, that explains it. Lionel Richard. Wow.
Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie and Little Richard. LR. And it's Little and it's Lionel. It's Richie and Richard. No wonder I got them confused.
Actually, I didn't connect the dots.
Yeah.
Well, I barely remembered his name before you said it.
Yeah. 2023 Recording Industry Association of America's 2022 year-end report stated vinyl record sales at 41 million exceeded CD sales at 33 million for the first time since 1987.
Oh, that's shocking.
Wow. Well, I mean,
back to vinyl, huh?
Well, a lot of these music snobs, they're going around, oh, blah, blah, it sounds so much better on vinyl. Okay, I don't really care, Yeah. And now we have MP3s. Who the hell's buying either CDs or vinyls in 2023? 2023 as well, Russia began a major missile strike attack against Ukrainian cities and their infrastructure, killing at least 11 and injuring 20 more. We also have the United Nations announced it had purchased a crude carrier to remove barrels of oil from a stricken ship off the coast of Yemen to prevent an environmental and humanitarian disaster. Did they prevent it, though, is my question.
Probably.
2 years ago, the 44th Razzie Awards, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Worst Picture, John Voight, Worst Actor, and Megan Fox, Worst Actress. I can completely agree with that, Miss Toe Thumbs. But yeah, remember when they did that...
John Voight? No, that's...
No, I'm not talking about John Voight. When...
No, I know, but I'm just saying he was in that picture?
No. If you let me talk, you'll understand. Do you remember when Disney... Well, no, I mean, there's, I remember when Disney, Mickey Mouse, all that stuff went public and all that stuff, Common Domain or whatever it's called?
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, you didn't even wince the name. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey? Blood and Honey?
I know, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I cringed when you said it.
Yeah. Because it went public too. Public domain or whatever. 2025, colossal squid, the Mesononocereus hamiltoni, a species identified in 1925, was filmed for the first time by scientists from the Schmidt Ocean Institute. The 30 centimeter, or 11.8 inches juvenile, was captured on video at a depth of 600 meters, or 1,968 feet, near the South Sandwich Islands in the South Atlantic Ocean, using Sebastian, a remotely operated vehicle. Oh, Sebastian, like the crab from Little Mermaid? But that's interesting. South Sandwich Islands. Remember, the Sandwich Islands was the name of the islands that became Hawaii?
Yes, that's right.
But that's in the Pacific.
Yeah.
This is in the Atlantic.
South Atlantic.
So we have other Sandwich Islands.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder...
Well, that's pretty deep is the point.
Yeah, 1968 feet, yeah. And that shall conclude the show for the day. Once again, please check the underbar in the description below for any links that you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis. We can only bring you a portion between two sources. Please check our our underbar, the description for more. Continue your path of self-education. It is up to you to find the artifacts of our history, but only if each individual reaches out with and for open mindfulness, with a yearn to learn, to see outside what you think you know, to grow and find enlightenment. We have to find common ground with those who see their opinions differently from our own and find a better way to be better to one another. For your dose of past events, we stream at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I'm Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you, thank you so much for coming in and watching. And until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles! Alright, and y'all. And y'all.